Hey, how's everybody doing out there? I hope all is well with you and your family as it is with mine, especially in these times. For those who you don't know who I am, my name is Najami. I'm super excited to be doing my first review. I am starting to watch, and I just finished watching the Netflix new series called Self Made, which is an inspiring story about Madam C.J. Walker. So I was inspired to do this review. I usually watch reviews with certain reality shows and certain shows that I see, and I enjoy them because it's a way to continue the conversation with yourself, but virtually. And I decided to do my first one because I'm also a business owner. I'm also within the beauty industry. And I kind of like hesitated and procrastinated to watch the series because I felt like it would hold me accountable because it kind of like for me resonated and I knew that it would pertain to me and where I am as a business owner and entrepreneur. So I'm going to cover each episode, and I watched the first one, and I'm going to do a review today on episode one. And the reason why I wanted to do this particular review is because also I have my notes with me. I just want to make sure I cover everything because this review that I'm doing is going to be more like not just talking about the episode, the first episode, but also how it pertains to today and within the beauty industry and within business as well. So I'm going to do it more on that perspective. Also, I feel like for me personally, Madam CJ Walker, I feel like, here's a black woman like myself. I feel like, I look similar to her. She's also an entrepreneur. She was an entrepreneur. She was also in the beauty industry. And a lot of, she's basically left a huge legacy. And it pertains a lot with my beliefs as an entrepreneur. I always go by my three E's, which is provide a great experience with those, whoever you come across, educate and empower those who you service as well. So I just want to start with like who is Madam C.J. Walker, and she was born as Sarah Breedlove on December 23rd, 1867, and she passed away May 25th, 1919. She was an American entrepreneur, philanthropist, and a political and social activist. She is recorded as the first female self-made millionaire in America and is also written in the Guinness Book of World Records. Her net worth, which is noted as 10 million at the time back then, that's a lot of money back then. And she's also inventor of a line of African American hair products after herself suffering from a scalp ailment that resulted in her own hair loss. She promoted her products by traveling around the country, giving the results of her own hair loss, and she promoted her products by traveling, giving lectures and demonstrations, and eventually established Madam C.J. Walker Laboratories to manufacture cosmetics and train sales beautician. And for me as an entrepreneur, I own a on-demand mobile spa right now because of things that are going on with our country and COVID-19. A lot of us are not able to continue work. So that has pretty much put my beauty servicing, it's suspended my beauty servicing business for now until further notice. However, I do still have a product line for my business. So with this series coming out and with everything currently happening right now for me personally in my servicing business, I just felt like it pertained, and it also could pertain. made me think of, and I'm sure a lot of you out there who are business owners or people who are just working, you're trying to find ways to make additional income or make income if you're not currently working now because of COVID-19, like myself, and that aspect. So you want to like transition online and stuff. So I'm gonna do this review on the on that, looking at it at a business perspective as well. So Madam C.J. Walker, Sarah, she left an amazing legacy. Okay, and today, when you look at it, she's still very well known today. A legacy that goes on today. And with the review, I just want to hit the point of view when it comes to business and also emotion, because business is pretty much, 20%, I would say, logic and 80% emotion. And as I go on and with the review, I'll go more into the how is business more emotion, and pretty much 80% emotion and 20% logic. All right. One of the things Madam C.J. Walker did, she gave great testimony to her story. And we all have our own story that we can share with people that we come across. And people also want to be inspired and empowered and motivated. And they want to know, if you own a business, what's your story, or what are you about? And in turn, too, when you watch anything, it could be like The Voice, for example. Each contestant that comes up, before they come up, they tell their story. And that's how we get emotional when it comes to that and how we can relate. So as you're watching the first episode, in the beginning, what goes on is that Sarah was a hardworking washwoman, and she lost hope and she forgot how to dream. Her husband was released from jail, and it changed him. So he became abusive and he abandoned her. Okay. Her hair begins to fall out. And I just wanted to just point out in this part where, stress is really a major, major thing. And some of us may be going through a lot of stress right now, especially in these trying times and stuff. And in the episode, Sarah was going through stress. Okay. And her hair, as a result, was falling out. And she makes a statement: if God don't like ugly, why did he make me? So much beauty in this world, how did I not get any? And it just shows how she attached her hair, and beauty was her beauty, and it affected her self-confidence. And oftentimes, how is it that we define our beauty? Is it with our hair? Is it the way we look? Is it the way we feel about ourselves within, confidence? So because she was going through a lot, she was going through rough times, she lost hope. She was not in a good marriage and not in a good place. And I believe she was a mother as well, a young teen. She had her daughter while she was a teenager and stuff. So she was a mom as well. And as she's going through this and she's going through a hard time, Addie Monroe walks into her life. And Addie is also an entrepreneur, and she is going door to door selling hair growth products. Okay. And her selling the hair growth products, she meets Sarah and sees how Sarah's down and out. Her husband, I guess, was abusive towards her, and he left. And when he left, that's when Addie came in. And she was just like, I got you. Pretty much took Sarah under her wings and was there for her to support her, and used her miracle hair growth product on her, and all Sarah's hair grows back in like 4 months, I believe. So does Sarah's confidence as well. So her hair grows back, she feels more confident. And one of the things I wanted to point out, she mentions that once her hair grew back, she became more confident. And then when she became more confident, I want to stress this order, she also got a new man. So it wasn't her having a man that made her confident. It was her being confident first within herself and who she is. Then she got a new man. I wanted to point that out. Okay. That's a whole topic in itself. So now this is where the twist comes in. So Sarah is excited about the products. Her hair's, all grown in. And she's got a new man now. Things are coming up pretty much for her. She's feeling confident about herself. So she approaches Addie to sell her products, because Addie used other ladies that look like her to go door to door and sell her products. So she was basically leveraging herself, which is smart as a businesswoman. So there's a lot of business lessons in this episode, and I'm sure in the series I'll also be covering, the second episode. And I think there's like 4 episodes total, but I'm just doing the first one for today. So then she's like, oh, I would really like to sell, your products. It works for me. It's really great. And Addie's like, oh no, let's just keep the relationship that we have the way it is. Don't mess up a good thing. And refuses for Sarah to be one of her saleswomen. So Sarah pretty much, she continued. She was like, she mentions like, I can sell these products. They work for me and stuff like that. But Addie wanted a particular look and representation for her brand, and Sarah didn't fit the bill. Sarah wasn't mulatto like her, with long hair. Sarah was, opposite in the looks. She was a darker tone woman and stuff, and her hair wasn't as long as her hair was. And then Addie, no, wait, Sarah said something to Addie like, oh, those girls that you pick, everybody knows that because they're mulatto, that's why their hair looks like that and stuff like that. And then Sarah says that to Addie. Then Addie's like, oh, she mentions this to Sasha. She's like, oh, even though women know they can never look like me, they still buy it anyway in hopes of. I was like, oh snap, she said that. I couldn't believe she said that, but she said it. She kept it real with her, and so did Sarah keep it real with Addie. So basically, she disses Sarah completely. So Sarah was like, you know what, I'm going to take these products anyway, and I'm going to show her and sell them so she could see that I can sell her products. So she sneaks and she takes the products without, after Addie refuses her to be one of her sales ladies. And so she goes to the marketplace and she starts giving her testimony to the ladies, telling her story, what she was going through, and how she was down and out, and how hair, for her, she tied hair to everything, to her beauty, to her self-confidence, and how this product worked for her, and how things are so much better now for her and stuff like that. So then and then she had a crowd. The lady was like, yo, one lady was like, yo, give me one, I'll try it. And I also remember one of the ladies were like, at the marketplace, she was like, I heard of that product. And as a business owner myself, I've had that happen to me a few times where some people are like, I heard of Beautifully You before and stuff. But it's kind of like that. I heard of it, but I don't know much about it, but I've seen you around and I've heard about it. And so that resonated with me. And so she's like, okay, I'll take one for 50 cents. And I was like, yo, 50 cents back in what? 1809 or something, or back in the day, I can't remember the date, but it was like 18 something, or 1908, my bad, 1908. And it was just like 50 cents back then. That was pretty pricey, because I'm like, that's like half of a dollar in today's time. So, and I'm like, a dollar, you may think like a dollar may not be much in today's time, but like half a buck. But back in 1908 or so, I was like, that was a pretty pricey product. And it was like in a tin can, this small. It wasn't even big and bulky like how we have our products today. Everything is like so massive and big. But I guess a little bit goes a long way when it comes to good product. So continues. So she sells all the products completely. And then she goes to Addie and she was like, yo, look, Addie, we can make some money. I sold all these products. And Addie was like, oh my God, what? Sarah, you stole from me? I can't believe you stole from me. You betrayed me after all I did for you. I took you in. I showed you my products. I used them on you. I gave you opportunity to work so you can make money as a washwoman. Why can't you just be grateful, thankful, and stay in your lane and stay in your place? And Addie, of course, felt like Sarah wasn't the right representation for her brand. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because in a sense, it's like, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or even you as a consumer, when you see a brand, you have a mindset about it already automatically, because that brand has done everything it could to represent itself in a particular way. So if you own a business, do you not have the right to decide how you want to represent your brand and what you want your brand affiliated with? Okay, so this is where I guess logic comes in and emotion comes in. But to answer that, like, do you feel like pretty or beauty sells? Like, the prettier someone looks, the more beautiful that they look, they actually could sell a product more so than a woman who may be more like unattractive or not as appealing to what today's society of beauty standards are. But I feel like Sarah, in a sense, proved that, a testimony, knowing that a product is good and that it works, and giving her testimony and reaching out to women that are like her. She sold out too. So it's like food for thought. Mm. I'm drinking like this tea. It's really good. It's like an orange spice and it has clover in it. It's all good. So I've been drinking a lot of warm fluids, because I hear that, warm fluids is really good, especially in today's time. So I'm not even going to mention that dreadful word. All right. So then Addie comments that even though women like Sarah know they will never look like her. Oh, wait. I mentioned that already. She says to her, she's like, damn, I lost my place. Oh, yeah, okay. She insults Sarah by saying she doesn't want her brand associated with the likes of her. So, Sarah was using words like we. And sometimes you think like you cool with someone, or like, there's a sisterhood, or you want to do business to business with someone, and you use the word we, but there's no, then they're like, nah, it's my business, it's my brand, it's this, it's that. So basically, Sarah was hurt about it, and she turned her hurt into motivating her to do her own hair product. And this is where I'm gonna go into it when it comes to business. Like, it just shows you back then and today, the basics, the principles, it's still the same, man. It's like, We go through in life, and are we gonna turn our lemons into lemonades, or criticisms into positives? So Sarah was like, no, bump it. I'm going to make my own hair product. So she goes through the trial and error. She finally gets a good ingredient. And one of the things I know she mentioned when one of those two sales girls were selling Addie's product, they were like, a lot of the customers are complaining that it doesn't smell that good, And then Sarah says that's because of the sulfur that's in it. And I usually put it in my hair at night, so that way that could, help. And by then next day, the smell goes away. So Sarah knew that was one of the complaints with customers, was the smell of Addie's Miracle Grow products. So when she made her products, she made sure that they smell good. So everyone's like, and it smells good too. You know how we like things that smell good. We don't even, most of us don't even care if it works or not. We just like, it smells good. So her products smelled better. And I believe she got rid of that sulfur smell. And she did trial and error. It was successful. Women's hair, she had testimonies from women saying that your product is great. It smells good. It works. It's changed my life. Everybody's hair was just growing. I was like, can I get some of that? Can I get some? Even though I keep my hair short and stuff. But I'm like, let me get some. So now, another business thing. She was like, so she separated her product from made it different from Addie from the smell, and it was just as effective. Then she moves to a new location, moves somewhere else to continue building her business and getting away from separating herself away from the competition and stuff. That's another business move. Like, how you drive around and you got a pizzeria, nail salon, and what else? Chinese food. You have these centers, and then the next block is the same thing. You don't see 2-3 salons right next to each other and stuff, because then, so she separated herself. Sarah moved, went somewhere else. And then so now, and this is another part of the movie that I really like. So she goes to a new location. She has her partner, her man, helping her. Her daughter gets married. That's a whole nother thing. Her daughter gets married, brings her husband along. And it's like a family business. Everybody's in there making hair products and this, and they're getting ready for their big grand opening. She was telling her man, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I don't know right now. But she was like, okay, make sure you give my testimony and you go out there. So she's busy making this stuff. They're out there promoting it. So grand opening happens. What happens? Boom. Nobody shows up. Okay, and then that right there hit home, because it's just like when you're building something, and you do an opening, or you have like something and you want, you're promoting it, and then the turnout is all not that great. It does get discouraging and stuff like that. As an entrepreneur, if you're even doing something or building something, you know what I mean? It takes money. It takes, sweat, tears, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like, that hit home. I was like, yeah, I know the feeling. Grand opening. And then her man was like, you have, her husband. I keep saying her man, her husband now. She's like, you have 2 weeks to turn this around. She's like, I am not going back to washing. That is over. And he was like, well, you got to do what you got to do. You can have food on the table and stuff. And he was, losing hope. And sometimes, that happens. But she stood firm. And what did Sarah do? She went back to basics, yo. She's like, I'm going to go back to basics. And come out with my promotional material, marketing material. She did her flyers. She went out there into the community, door to door, in the market, doing what she knows how to do best. Give her testimony. Talk to women. Educate women. Empower women. This is why this resonated with me so well, because of my 3 E's. You have the experience, the women that, well, most of them haven't had the experience yet, but the testimony, and then educating them and empowering them to change and do things and for themselves. So I was just felt that was very, I was just like very inspired by that and stuff as well. And then now women, she offered discounts and deals, all just, ways to build business. Even today, go back to the basics. Right now we can't really do the door to door marketing. Is everything is more right now, especially now it's like online. So what would a online door to door be like? It would be pretty much, touching people when it comes to through messages, private messages. Hey, how you doing? How's everything going? You know what I mean? Is there any way I can help you? Do you need this or do you need that? The soft personal touches instead of just a blast email or maybe a phone call. You know what I'm saying? Talk people, hey, how they doing and stuff like that. I put like lime in this, like chunks of lime. So good. Anyway, onward. So she does that within 2 weeks, turns everything around, has so much business. Women are coming in. She gave them a deal. She promoted, she motivated, she empowered. She gave her testimony. Her products work. And all of a sudden, boom, here comes Addie's storefront. And she's like, wow, how am I going to compete with that? I'm going to compete with that. Here I am in my house doing this. This lady got a storefront and stuff. And I'm not going to go into, Addie with the, she saw Addie, went over and approached her and said hi. And then, Addie comes out of her store and she's like, you can see she kind of had like a black eye and all this kind of stuff. I'm not even going to go into that because my review is more on a business aspect of looking at things. And that's what I'm going to continue to stay on. The logic part of building business and the emotion part of building business. And I feel like this series with Self-Made is a great at showing how the emotion, 80% of building business is the emotion part of it. You have the 20% logic, like, the marketing, the numbers. And she was even mentioning something, boom, I almost forgot. There's 3 million black women in America. If I can get all 3 million to buy my product, I am a millionaire. I was just like, there goes the 20% logic. Doing the numbers. If I do this, I get this, that. So then now here comes the rest of it is the emotion, the action, part of it and stuff. So then, Addie comes back in town. Addie goes to the church, starts to get under Sarah's skin, which competition is good. It helps you to grow. You know what I'm saying? So is networking is just as good. It's a positive way to work together. But, competition is also good. It gets, you to grow and forces you to grow and challenges you in a different way. It gets that emotion part that I was telling you about. Like, she bust a mirror in the church. Like, she was upset and she went out and she was like, everybody, free, buy one, get one free. And now she, come to my salon and you could get this free service. And I mean, like, they were so busy making so much more product because of that, because she was competing with Addie. And Addie was getting under her skin. But then what happens is part of the house burns down because her son, her daughter's husband forgets something in the kitchen. Then it explodes. Then they're trying to put out the fire. And she's like, everyone's devastated. Sarah's devastated. She's like, oh my God, I should have just stayed on did my business. They're saying like, mind your business. I should just stay focused. I let her distract me and this and that. But for every bad, good comes out of it. So even though Addie was there, I mean, like, Addie was came out giving flyers and like, listen, my place is available for you. I'm not trying to take, you away from Sarah. I just want you to know that I'm here for you until she can get back up on her feet with her business. And I think she even made like some grimy comment to Sarah, like something about her with her customers in her house or in her kitchen or something. She got a storefront, blah blah blah, whatever it may be. Oh, I want to go back to the storefront because even with me, like with deciding when I started my business if I should do a storefront or if I should just have it as a mobile. And you know what I mean? It's just like I'm like the Addie. I'm doing this, from home, going home to home and servicing people, and then I'm like, did I say I'm like Addie? I'm like Sarah, I mean. And then Addie, she has a storefront, and I've been always going back and forth. Should I do storefront or should I just continue servicing people? Like what I have and what I offer. And then even Sarah was like, okay, if you have a business, how do you stand out from the rest? How does one stand out from the rest and stuff like that? And she had to always continue. She was thinking and just it's like her business consumed her life. She wasn't even like coming up for air to even enjoy the fruits of her labor, because there was a point when her husband was just like, we finally making profit. Can we just chill and enjoy it for a little bit before we continue talking about, bigger places and this and that. But it just goes to show you, like, when you have to just keep hustling, going. Like you can't really afford to slow down when it comes to growing something and stuff. So I'm gonna go back. So Sarah confronts Addie like, yo, why are you trying to steal my customers? And Addie was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know what happened? She was like, no. And then she tells us something. She's like, yo, from now on, you address me as Madam CJ Walker. And then she just was just like, you know what? I'm just going to get a bigger place. I'm just going to do this and I'm going to do that. So she took the part of the house burning down. Plus she was outgrowing it. It was just like, sometimes when certain things happen in life, it's just like, it's hard, but there's a reason for it. And it's just like, it just gave her now more the opportunity, because she was always talking about it with her husband, like, yo, we need to go bigger, we need to grow, we need manufacturing, we need this, we need that. Oh, and then another thing that also from business, and she leveraged herself, she got help. She wasn't just doing everything by herself. She had a team. And I mean, it takes a team to make the dream work. I always like to say that, and I definitely believe that. So she had people working for her. She was leveraging herself. She brought things back to basics when things, were getting a little bit rough. And she knew she was outgrowing that house anyway. So I'm looking forward to watching the second episode and doing a review on that. And then also watching the third